Don't get up. You're good. Don't do anything. Stop what you're doing. Don't do anything. You're good. Just stay in your bed all day. Head up. Don't do anything you're not doing. You are good. Hi, I'm Michelle Hammer, and I have schizophrenia. Schizophrenia is a mental illness that changes the way you think, feel, and act. It's broken down into 3 separate categories: positive, negative, and cognitive. Positive symptoms don't mean they're a good thing. It's an add-on to your normal behavior. Things like hallucinations, delusions, and voices.
You know, I had so many ghosts and shadows inside of my mind.
A demon was perching on the end of my bed.
Negative symptoms take away from your behavior.
I showed no emotion and I was just totally out of it.
Cognitive symptoms make it hard to pay attention and hard to focus.
Their brain is just racing. It can't stop.
My first symptoms of schizophrenia was pretty much just zoning out, thinking I was in a different place. Then it turned into kind of voices in my head that just plagued me over and over again. I thought my mother was trying to hurt me. I didn't know what to do about anything because I thought everyone had it out for me, so I didn't know who to go to for help.
Over time, we've realized that mental illness is nothing more than physical illness. Talk to as many people as you can. Don't be ashamed. Don't be judgmental.
I mean, living in the city and having schizophrenia is interesting just because, I do hear voices as I'm walking down the street. So in my head, I'm thinking of the person talking to me, but then I start talking back to the person. And then maybe I'll snap out of it, look around, and like 5 people are staring at me. But mostly I kind of just get plagued by thoughts that are just so repetitive in my head, and they just go around over and over and over again, when really I just want it to be nice and quiet and silent. All through high school, I had this really crazy paranoid delusion that my mother was trying to kill me. Kill me. Every time she went to try to get me to a therapist or anything, because she knew something wasn't right, I always thought she was trying to ruin my life. So when I went to college, I thought I was free of her, and everything was great, and then all of a sudden, my best friend, my roommate, I started thinking the exact same things about her. So realizing that I had the problem was like the start of the entire thing. At 18, I was told I was bipolar, but I kind of knew that diagnosis was incorrect. So at 22, I spoke to a different doctor, and I was more honest with him, and he diagnosed me with schizophrenia, and that was like the best thing that ever happened to me because he got me on the right medication, and I feel as good as I can possibly feel right now.
I finally told a therapist about what was going on with me. I had all these problems, and I finally had a name for them.
I see a psychiatrist every other week, and we just kind of talk about things that are going on. Mostly I just share really silly stories with him, and we just laugh a lot, when really he's measuring just my mood. And that's what I know that he's doing.
It can be very lonely having schizophrenia. The paranoia, the fear, the voices, everything that goes along with it.
The compliance with medications is going to ultimately lead to a recovery, and your son or daughter can not only be okay, but they can be great again.
People think that just because you're on medicine that the voices will completely stop, but you just can't stop the voices. With medication, it's more positive listening, it's more just zoning out. As long as I'm not thinking of negative, horrible things.
My soul was leaking out of my body. I just saw a human being empty.
I'm good. So you can't turn the voices off, you can just make them to what you prefer to hear.
Be conscious of something that will take your attention from that negative situation into a positive one. And it takes a lot of discipline, but little by little, it becomes a habit.
1 in 5 New Yorkers has a mental health issue, but people don't talk about it because of all the stigma. I was on the subway, and I looked down the subway train, and there was a homeless schizophrenic guy just talking to himself, and I noticed it was in the same exact mannerisms as I do it. So I kind of thought to myself, what's the difference between me and this guy? And I realized if I didn't have my friends, my family, my doctor, I could so easily be in his position. my whole thing is, if everyone would just kind of tell people that they have a mental illness, there wouldn't be so much stigma. There really shouldn't be any stigma. That needs to go away. Mental illness is so common. How can there be so much stigma? So I kind of wanted to do something that could raise awareness, give back to the mentally ill homeless community, and just kind of make a difference.
My advice to someone who's going through it is be honest. If you keep telling people you're fine, they'll believe it.
I believe there is a component beyond medical treatment that it has to be with education and creating positive voices that can influence and override the negative ones.
Just because they have schizophrenia doesn't mean that they can't be someone who will contribute to society, who can make the world a better place.